morning. This is pre-algebra for Monday, April the 13th. I hope you watched the video before you took your test and that you did your best last week. I will be texting you hopefully today with your answers, or not your answer, with your grade to let you know how you did. Today we're going to talk about a new lesson. We're on lesson 82 in your book. That is on page 231, lesson 82. Now, we've talked about adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. Today we're going to do both multiplying and dividing negative numbers because it is so easy, okay? Here's all you have to remember. If both of the signs are the same, they're both negative, they're both positive, it doesn't matter. If the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If one is positive and one is negative, then your answer is negative. In fact, if you have 3 or 4 numbers, as long as they're pairs, okay, of the same, you have the same number, let's say you have 4 numbers and 2 of them are positive and 2 of them are negative that you're multiplying. Since you have 2 positive and 2 negative, you have the same number of positive and negatives, your answer is going to be positive, okay? So let's look at this. We have over here on the board, 4 times 2 is 8. That's simple. You learned that probably in about 2nd grade. 4 times 2 is 8. Those are both positive numbers. Look at the next one. I have negative 4 times negative 2. Well, 4 times 2 is still 8. Since both signs are negative, my answer is just positive. So my answer, negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Because both signs are negative. If both signs are the same, your answer is positive. Okay? Now I have a negative 4 times a positive 2. Signs are different. So my answer is negative 8. Now look at the last one. 4 times a negative 2. Again, I have 1 positive and 1 negative, so my answer is negative 8. What about dividing? It's the same principle. I have 8 divided by 2. They have no signs. If no sign is written, we know that it really means it's positive. So positive 8 divided by a positive 2 is a positive 4. What if I have a negative 8 divided by a negative 2? Both signs are negative, so my answer is positive 4. Okay? Then I have a positive 8 divided by a negative 2. I have 1 positive and 1 negative sign, so my answer is going to be negative. So my answer is negative 2. That's it. That's the whole thing, guys. If both signs are positive, the answer is positive. If both signs are negative, the answer is positive. If the signs are the same, the answer is positive. If the signs are different, then the answer is negative. Look in your book for me at the top of page 232 in lesson 82. Let's look at the practice section. It says positive 4 times negative 3. The answer is negative 12. Negative 3 times positive 4. Your answer is negative 12 because the signs are different. Look at letter C. Negative 4 times negative 3. My answer is positive 12 because my signs were both negative. The signs are the same. Positive 4 times positive 3, my answer is positive 12. Letter E, positive 4 divided by negative 8. What is your answer? Your answer should be negative 1/2. Okay? You're just going to reduce the fraction 4 over 8 to 1 because you're going to divide both of them by 4, so you have 1/2 and it's negative. Look at letter F. Negative 14 divided by negative 7. The answer is 2. Letter G, negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. Letter H, 14 divided by negative 7 is negative 2. I want you to look down at number 14 in your problem set. It says express in cubic centimeters the volume of the right solid whose base is the figure shown on the left and whose sides are 1 meter high. Dimensions are in centimeters. Well, one thing we have to notice is all of our dimensions are in centimeters except our height. It says that the height is 1 meter. So right away, let's change that. It's not going to be 1 meter. It's going to be what? How many centimeters are in a meter? 100. Okay? So in your mind, you just got to understand that. Okay? Let's look at our problem. I want to find, in this problem, it tells me that I want to find the volume. We know that no matter what our shape, the way to find volume is volume equals the area of the base times height. Okay? But what is the area of the base? We have to look at that. We need to divide it. We're going to have to divide it across here. Okay? To get two normal shapes, okay? Now we have the what? We have the volume's going to be the area of our rectangle plus the area of our triangle. We're going to add those together. Then we're going to multiply by our height. So what's the formula to find the area of a rectangle? The volume of it is going to be length times width plus the area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. And then we have our height. Okay, now we have a formula. Here we were just thinking it through. How do we do it, okay? Now I'm going to break this down, this area base. What is that? Well, I'm going to look at the shapes, and I'm going to say, okay, these are the shapes I have. In this case, I have 2. I could have 3. I could have 4. It doesn't matter. In fact, I think next week on your test, maybe it was, I think, it was last week on your test, you had a rectangle, a triangle, and a semicircle that all went together to make your total base. So it could be 2, 3, 4 different shapes all together that are connected for this. But the whole point of writing it like this is to think that through, okay? And then multiply by height because we're looking for volume. Once we know what the shapes are, let's break it down. The rectangle, oh, that's length times width. Oh, the triangle, that's base times height divided by 2. Make this real simple, little bitty sections. Now, all I have to do is go back and fill it in, okay? So for my rectangle, my length is 31. My width is 10. For my triangle, my base is going to be 10. I'm going to multiply that by the height. The height is going to be this, from this dotted line. So the whole line is 31, and this is to 10. How long is my dotted line? 31 minus 10 means the dotted line is 21 divided by 2. Notice I put parentheses around my triangle formula, parentheses around my rectangular formula, but brackets around all of that because all of that has to be done before I multiply. And we said that the height of our figure was 1 meter, but we know that 1 meter is how many centimeters? 100 centimeters. So we're going to multiply that by 100. Okay? Now we're simply going to work it out. We're going to say 31 times 10. I don't need to multiply because when you multiply by 10, all you're doing is adding a 0. So that's 310. Then I'm going to add that. Got that a little messy there. We're going to have 10 times 21. So again, 21, add the 0. So it's 210. 210 divided by 2 is going to be 105. And I need to add this before I can multiply by 100. So 310 plus 105 is 415. We're going to multiply that by 100. I'm going to run out of boardroom. So we're going to write down our 415. How many zeros are in 100? 2. So I'm going to add 2 zeros to the end of my answer. I'm looking for volume. So that's going to be cubic. So my answer is 41,500 cubic centimeters. Okay? Today, I need you to do your online homework as well as take your quiz. I want to point out a couple of things to you. Number one, some of you are turning in your homework and you have a 50 on it. I had somebody turn one in that has a 12 on it and they just submitted it and they were just all done. Okay, if you turn in any homework that is less than a 70, you still get a 0 on that homework. You can rework the problem. You can rework the problems and get them correct. There's no reason to turn them in with just a bunch of wrong answers, okay? Number 2, you need to understand those quizzes are not, though they are the same problems that we have in class, they are graded differently. I told you this at the beginning of the online, when the last day you were in classes. They are 20 points apiece. You miss 1, you get an 80. You miss 2, you have a 60. You have as much time as you need to take the quiz. Some of you are turning them in 2 and 3 minutes, and you're scoring 20s and 30s and 40s on them. Okay, slow down, take your time, do them correctly. Guys, it's a quiz. I can't give you the answer. It doesn't do you any, it doesn't help you to call me and say, I don't know how to do this problem. How do I do it? You can call and tell me, Ms. Turner, I don't think the correct answer's there. You know, there's a typo. I'll be happy to check that. But when you're taking a quiz, that's a quiz. You need to take it all by yourself. You may not use devices. You may not Google it. You may not use a phone a friend. You may not use help, okay? I'm not right there with you, but God is, okay? Quizzes you have to do on your own. Homework, call me. I will help you with it. I have some of you that call me a lot, okay? Be reasonable in your numbers of calls, okay? But yes, you may call me and I will be happy to answer your questions. I will send you your test grade back to you from Friday as long as I have your contact information. If I do not, feel free to text me and I will then send your algebra grade back to you. All right? Have a good day. Has to be this triangle. Am I missing a number? Okay, if this is 12, that is 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. This is not what they asked me for. Let's come back to that one. It's 140. What percent of 40 is? What?
Can I bring my notebook?
Yeah.
Are you sitting down and then having to go get
Then I
some?
have to go get something else. All of this?
Where's the notebook actually?
The notebook?
Yes.
Oh, I understand completely. Liar, lunatic, legend, and lord.
Liar, lunatic, legend, yeah, Jesus. like dismantling the belief that everybody says Jesus was a good man,
Mm-hmm.
but Jesus claimed to be God. But you don't believe he's good. You don't believe he's God, but you believe he's a good man. If a good man claims to be the son of God, he's not a good man. And he's lying, then he's not a good man. What is this? Why is it not working now?
6. Let's start with these. Okay, I have 4 to the negative third. 3 to the negative second. I have 1 over 2 to the negative fourth. 1 over 5th to the negative third. And then I have 3px times p plus x plus 2px. We have what? Percent of 400 is 0.8. Okay, so we have rate times 400 is 0.8. Divide both sides by 400.